Okay, here's the Ducati I wanted to test ride. This used to be a technician's bike. I guess that can mean good things or bad things. And I'm part of a demo ride group, which I did not expect. I thought I'd be just coming down here test riding solo. Picking this up off the stand. Incredibly lightweight bike. At least it feels that way. Looks like it's been sitting outside though. Plastics are faded. Where's our leader? Oh, there he is. He said to run the high beams on. Oh man. Sounds good. It's got that feel. I'm really shocked at how light of a flywheel Ducati has on this bike. When you rev it, the RPMs just feel like they drop right off. The whole thing, just sitting here waiting for this group to start, just feels very, very primal, very mechanical. Not quite in a Harley way, if you've ever ridden one of their air-cooled bikes, but you know, it's got character, and I haven't even moved on it yet. All right, we're almost ready to go. I do feel like this bike has been dropped at least once. There's a little spot back here on the muffler where it scraped something, but it's just barely scraped. And you have to wonder if maybe this was replaced because it's so faded out, only 5,000 miles. I want to fall in behind this guy in the white monster here. Clutch take up is a lot longer than I would have thought. And wow, the bike is really weird. You're sitting on top of it kind of like a big dirt bike, I guess, kind of like an old Scrambler. I don't know, but like you can slide like all the way up on the tank. Super weird. If you're not used to it. If you've ever heard somebody say, am I sitting on the bike or in the bike? This is definitely an on the bike experience. Ergonomics seem pretty decent though. Oh man, the grunt is definitely there. But man, you just slide. You slide back, you slide forward when you get on the brakes. Oh man, this thing needs a seat. Like, I feel like it needs something to kind of give you a little bit of a feeling of home. You know, someplace for your butt to stay put. I do dig the very generous frame sliders that the previous owner has installed in this bike. Really, really nice. And when you rev this thing up off idle, you would think being an air-cooled V-twin, it would have more vibes, but I swear to God, it's actually smoother feeling off idle than the SV650 is. Really, really shocking. I don't know what this guy beside me wants me to do. I'm just going to scoot up in the group here. Hopefully I'm not breaking some kind of motorcycle rule. I don't do a lot of group rides. I tend to avoid them because it only takes one idiot to run into somebody and you're like dominoes. And these guys don't seem too big on safety riding around in their Hawaiian shirts after eating a couple extra Big Macs. Sorry if you watch this video, y'all. I'm not trying to be a dick. It just comes naturally. They do have good manners about pointing out road hazards though. Good for them. Something I never developed a knack for. The clutch on this thing is just so light. There's like no feel at all. I'm not hating it. I'm not loving it either. It's a hydraulic clutch, maybe that's why. Brakes. Okay, this is interesting. You know, this is why I wanted to come out today, was I wanted some experience with the brakes on different bikes to see how they stacked up. Now, this bike has dual disc brakes. They are Brembos, but in that way it is similar to my SV. But it also has, this is really interesting to me, it also has a traditional axial type master cylinder. And I keep thinking in my mind, I've convinced myself that a new master on the SV would be the ticket to what I want. And this bike does not have that, but it still feels really nice. Really, really nice. At least for urban braking. A lot more bite and a lot more feel than the SV650 has. And the bike has a lot more natural yank than the SV650 has. I have forgotten, y'all, and if you can hear me grinning in the audio, I hope that's a good thing. But I had forgotten just how much fun the engine character of these bikes are. Man, it is like a time capsule in the best possible way. I love the way this thing feels. The turn-in on this thing is really nice and neutral. You know, it doesn't feel tippy. It doesn't feel like you're using excessive force. It just feels like it's like, you know, like the way your brain thinks a bike should feel when you turn in. Of course, I think we are riding on Öhlins suspension, so not exactly shocking that everything is sorted in the suspension department. Downshifts are just kind of weird. I can't quite nail the downshift on this just perfectly. All right, now we can get moving a little bit here. Alright, I expected a little more yank from an 1100 air-cooled. I'm a little shocked that when these guys took off that I buried the throttle and we were just getting, you know, a strong pull, but not like a front wheel up. I expected more. Now, it could be the mode this bike is set to. I did notice it was set to traction control mode 2. I don't even know what that means. Or rider mode 2, DTC mode 2, whatever it is. I didn't want to screw around with it before we went out on the ride. So maybe that's cutting the gonads off the engine a little bit. But it is very, very smooth. You can feel some vibes in the tank, like coming up through your thighs, and you can feel some vibes coming up through the pegs. The only other Scrambler I've ever ridden was the original 800 Icon back when it first came out. And I remember that bike, I just remember getting off of it thinking, God, that's a fun little bike. Like, but it just felt like a child's bike to me. It's just a little too small. And I could never get over the feeling a little self-conscious about it. The reason I wanted to come out and test ride bikes today was because of the brakes on the SV650, but the reason I wanted to ride this particular bike was I feel like it was a last chance. You know, I don't know how long Ducati's going to keep making these 1100 engines with the Desmo valve train. This could be it. I feel like they've been trying to kill it for years, and they're such a special engine. There's just nothing else like them. They are to Ducati what the Boxer engine is to Beamer. I feel like these drag bars are cool, but I need to put more bend in my arms to not put pressure on my hands, and it's causing me to feel a little bit of pain in my hands. But overall, the ergonomics, really solid. Really, really, really solid. I'm just mind blown at how much lighter this bike feels on its feet than the SV, and I think the weight on them is pretty similar. I'll put it up on the screen right now. You can give me a thumbs up if I'm right, and if I'm really wrong, leave me a comment and tell me how stupid I am. I'm good with it. One reason I don't like riding in a group is I don't like all the concentration it takes to place you with the other riders. Like, I know there's somebody to my right, and it's bugging me. Oh, this is dusty. Not good. Oh, sorry, dude, behind me. I just didn't realize how dusty this road was. I didn't want to wipe this guy's bike out. All right, I'm going to do one more test ride today. At least I'm planning on one more. Maybe I'll do more. But I have to say, riding this bike, it's put a smile on my face. I have forgotten how magical this engine was. It is, y'all, it's a shame that emissions are killing the fun in many ways. And this engine is one of those casualties. The 1100 air-cooled engine from Ducati. You know, the architecture of this engine goes all the way back to I think the 70s. When they first put belt drive on the engines and replaced the old bevel drive they used to have, which, despite looking really cool, was probably a maintenance nightmare. I need one of these in the garage, straight up. Even if it's not this Ducati Scrambler, I need an 1100 powered air-cooled Ducati in my garage. And I do think the Scrambler is really cool because it's just not that serious, right? It has this playfulness. It does feel kind of like a big dirt bike. What's up, bro? How many beaver nuggets you've been eating at Buc-ee's? Y'all, this is the reason why I don't normally narrate my riding videos a lot, because I'm a salty little sailor, and that's why I ride alone. Well, that was fun. Nice little route. Maybe I'll get to do another demo in a minute. Yeah, great ergonomics. Great little bike. That's it, y'all. That's my test ride of the Scrambler 1100.